Many online individuals have been using digital spaces to spread online hate speeches to attack the LGBTQ plus community, which is making the environment unsafe. Yet many human rights defenders use online spaces as a place of refuge to advocate for their rights. But right now, it doesn't seem that safe because of this false information spread online. Welcome to the Debunque podcast episode 2. And today I pose a question. Is there a safe online environment for the LGBTQ plus individuals? Today in studio we have a guest, Eugene, from one of the prominent organizations, Colored Voices Media Foundation, that advocates for a safe media environment. And he's going to talk to us on how online hate speeches have impacted the lives of the LGBTQ plus individuals and how we can actually help reduce on these speeches and stereotypes. We intend to dive into how individuals can create a safe online environment and what strategies can be put in place by organizations to create a safe online environment. Welcome, Eugene.
Thanks so much, Alexa.
Can you please briefly talk about yourself?
Okay. I'm Eugene Ntambi, partly the founder and currently the executive director for Colored Voices Media Foundation, whereby basically we are using media and film to advocate for LGBTQ rights, and as well we use innovation to solve some of the pressing problems that we are facing as a community in Uganda in regards to health, in regards to belonging, unemployment, and all those other things. So I'm really glad to be here with you.
Thank you, Eugene. Yeah, I'm also actually glad to have you on table with me. You've been around in the community, within and outside the community. So how do you think ordinary citizens can actually contribute to creating a safer online environment and challenging these online hate speeches that are actually targeting the LGBTQ community?
Yeah, actually we call those ones allies. In some instances, they are our allies, and also we have people who are really open-minded within the community. So, to be honest, online spaces can be empowering and inclusive for us, though in Uganda it is still very challenging. For the reason being, most of our entire community hasn't been sensitized and empowered in regards to accept and as well maybe respect LGBTQ rights. I think with a few people who are not homophobes and those who love us, with the experience we have had within media, I think they can first make sure that they support our work, especially for people who are trying to demystify, for people who are trying to put their voice. So the first thing they would do is to make sure that they support our work through retweeting. It can be very scary for them. Through liking, sometimes they fear that, for the reason being, if someone retweets a post, maybe a cartoon or an animation, maybe trying to fight for our rights, automatically a few of their colleagues and group mate label them that. But if they would start with that, it can really be very nice and very empowering. So someone will think that the moment you retweet or like or support in those regards, automatically you're gay or you're LGBTQ. Because me personally, I have people who even support us, allies who even talk about our rights. I have those ones who are very prominent and big, but it is very funny that in very few instances do they follow back our pages, and in very few instances do they like, retweet, or even post about our matters. So the first thing would be all the community members, ordinary community Ugandans that are allies and that are open-minded. The first thing they would do is to make sure that at least they retweet, they support our work.
Exactly. I was actually going to ask you, have you given them reasons to actually support you?
Yeah, we have to first work towards that, and we need to go back to the drawing board of making sure that at least we sensitize them. That is point number one, with the rest, so that they have information, they have education. Most of them find themselves, especially in Uganda, when they just have to support, because maybe they are friends with someone, maybe they grew up with this person, others are academias, Others have found themselves with children that are gay. So sometimes they don't have a lot of information around this. So some of them support, and some of maybe us who are LGBT, sometimes we find it very hard to explain in detail.
So in terms of that, what can you talk about parents who have grown up with their kids and they actually later find out that they belong to the community? Can we say that at least parents should try to understand or something like that?
Yeah, most parents in Uganda, for a few of my friends and colleagues and also daughters and sons that I have, that have tried to accept their children, they do it, but also at a cost. Because when we are growing up, they see us, it doesn't fall so far away, especially for the moms or the grandmoms or the grandpas. For them, it just fits in the puzzle because they be seeing our patterns and they be knowing us. It is very unfortunate that in Uganda, we don't have such an arrangement whereby parents of gay, queer kids can collect and maybe support their children and learn, because it starts with sensitization. Everything I'm talking about starts with sensitization and education. Because remember me, it is like doing sex education. There is no way that I'll sit my parent down or she sits me down. She knows that I'm this, but there is no way she will sit down and maybe with me and we talk about this. Because you see, even in heterosexual relationships, we don't talk about that with parents, you get. So it will be a little bit very hard. But if parents would have these conferences whereby they can sit together as parents, and they're educated upon and sensitized. So it means they would even have the brevity to come even online, maybe, to support most of our work. So in those regards, I would still ask maybe ordinary community people to try to learn. Because in Uganda currently we can't do it due to HAHA. We can't collect people and teach them. It will be like recruiting by the law. But at least they can take off time to read, those who can read. Then those who can watch YouTube, they can watch a few of videos that can be sensitizing so that they can collect more knowledge in regards to us. So actually, in a way, they would support us currently. If it is in Uganda, it would be to collect more information and knowledge about us. And as well, where they find us trying to fight for ourselves, they can really make sure that they support by retweeting, liking, reposting.
In the face of threats and violence, Eugene, how do you ensure the safety of LGBTQ activists and community members who are working to combat hate speeches?
It is really very unfortunate that we have hate speech in Uganda, and that is not going to go away. It is a fact, at least for now. We are going to live with it. It is really very dehumanizing. It is very hurting. If you go through most of the posts we make, you'll be really sad about how people think about us as LGBTQ Ugandans. They don't have any kind words for us, you get. So basically it will go back to how we can first protect ourselves as us. So it means you can decide not to read the comments. That is point number one. Or is make sure now, if you're at that level, or if you feel like your mental health is not okay, you post, but don't read. You can buy yourself time until you build a thick skin.
The thing of you talking about not reading the comments at first, I think it's actually very hard.
Yes, it is really hard. I agree with you. But you look, we are seeing in the face of threats and violence, how do you ensure the safety? You have to look to make sure that you don't post where you are currently. In case you're a human rights activist or you're famous, when people already know you're trans or for you already out proudly, then you make sure that you don't post when you are in a place at a live time. It is really very dangerous. Social media is very tempting. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. It is a vibe, But we have to make sure that we be very, very careful. Then the other thing is to make sure that we be careful as well with how we handle ourselves, especially maybe when giving interviews, maybe even when talking in friends, So you're supposed to be very, very certain of these people so that you don't just hook up on anyone, because they will be threats to you and to your life. So I'll look at it in two ways. The first way, the truth is that by default, we shall be picked on due to the levels of homophobia in Uganda and due to the levels of ignorance, in regards to LGBTQ, because they automatically equate us to sex only, what we do in our beds, rather than the persons that we are. And it has to go back to us. We are supposed to sensitize the community, to educate, to demystify the lies. So we have to carry that responsibility as a community, as us, and we haven't done that for over 10 years. To be honest, we haven't told people who we are really. People haven't known that really we love because we love. They don't know that, They just see us as people who are immoral, people who are imported here, So it will start with us. We haven't really done our part. But also, that will take time. Because this is Uganda, this is Africa. It will take time, but if you can strategize and work upon that, it would be the very first best point in order to solve most of these problems and the hate speech, because it starts there. The number two, we were doing a media survey on social media, and we found out that at least we have over 7,000, you can't believe it, LGBTQ accounts on X. You understand me? And only in Uganda, we have over 4,000. You can't believe it. Most of them, they are not in their names. They can be like accounts that are pseudo, but they are human beings. They are Ugandans. But I can tell you that even if you look on most of the accounts, you will see that most of the people who follow those accounts, by the way, are not even in Uganda to begin with. And you find that the LGBTQ Ugandans themselves, they are not following most of these accounts. They may not come up front, maybe to post, maybe to hold guns as us on the front line, but just a retweet, a repost, and maybe a comment is enough to put one post onto viral. These accounts I'm talking about, already for them, they are proudly out. I'm not talking about accounts of people I know that they are, but when they're not out proudly. I'm talking about accounts that even carry our flags. I'm talking about accounts that we know very well. So you will see that these people, they see maybe one post that is demystifying, one post that is going against hate, but they will not like it, they will not retweet it, they will do nothing about it. That is the one point I was telling you about. So it means this message can't be carried across, because you see me, I wouldn't care about that. As long as that message in that content or in that post is not asking for funds, it is maybe talking about we are LGBTQ Ugandans, we are your sons and daughters, we share the same DNA, we are not imported, we are here to stay. Let me say such a post. So why wouldn't you? Let us be honest. Why wouldn't you retweet it? Why wouldn't you like it? Why wouldn't you support it? Then why wouldn't you comment on it? I know most of them, they normally don't comment because they don't like commenting, but they can comment on porn and they can comment on rumors. The quicker they get to know that, this war we are in is like during the Black Liberation War, or during the Civil Rights War. Those are the times when every Black American had an initiative, whether you're on the front line, or you're not. But you had to do your task, or you had to do something for your people. So I call upon them really to know that we are in a time of war. That is the truth, whether they like it or not. And even if we are to win freedom right now, it is not only those ones that are at the forefront that will enjoy the freedom. It is all of us combined that will enjoy the freedom. I wish for them to spend a day when they don't fear, to be who they are, when they are free, when they can achieve their potentials. But it starts with even these small things that we are doing to combat hate speech. It starts with them liking that small post. It starts with them retweeting.
So, Eugene, what strategies is actually your organization employing to counteract the harmful effects of online hate speech and promote tolerance and acceptance?
Okay, so in regards to colored voices, with the few experiences we have had within the field, the truth is that we got to know, we asked ourselves, that was back in 2021, we asked ourselves that really, what would we do? What can we do so that people can understand us? and try not to kill us, try not maybe to chase away from home, try not to do us the hate speech. So we saw that the best thing we would do would be to tell them and sensitize them and demystify all the lies. Because I remember ever since 2010, the people who are carrying the anti-homosexuality agenda, we are using the issue that we are maybe pedophiles, we rape kids, then we recruit. And you see that even the previous year, 2023, when they were bringing back this bill, that is the same notion they bring. And we felt that before there was a gap, like people didn't come out to tell these people that, look here, we are not this. We are not pedophiles, and we don't support it. So we looked upon what can we do. We are looking at many campaigns, but due maybe to limited resources, we wouldn't be able to actualize most of those things. But in general, I'm going to give you a few of the things that we have done and those that would have been done. First of all, if you want to talk to people about hate speech and also to inform them about maybe your rights and also maybe acceptance, you have to start by maybe having like animations. Because an animation is something that can talk to someone when they can talk back to it. If I put myself there, when maybe I'm talking about our rights or anything of that sort, automatically someone is going to come back for me. But in case now I use a cartoon that is speaking to them directly, in most cases, research has it that most of them, they'll carry on the message and understand it, but they can't come back to comment bad things. And we have tested it. Then the other thing would be to make sure that we humanize us, to put us away from sex, to put us away from all that image they see us from. And we are trying to do that so much. For the reason being, it is good to say that, okay, I'm Steven. I'm LGBTQ, I'm Eugene, I'm LGBTQ, so what? I'm a human rights activist, okay? I defend LGBTQ rights, we are suffering, we are being killed, so what? You get? So we need to find a way to tell these people our stories, that you look here, I'm Eugene. I got to find out about my sexuality, maybe when I was maybe in like Form 4, and it really like impacted me in ways I didn't understand what was happening. So we need to give these people our stories of how we have come from point A up to point B as fellow Ugandans and as ordinary Ugandans. And within those stories, they will get to understand us. They'll get to socialize and connect with us. Because most of these people are people we have studied with in school, and some of them, we have never done anything to them or tried to recruit to them.
As colored voices, you deal with media. I think since everyone is always on the internet, everything is on the internet, I think should you also come out to talk about this? Is it right for someone from the community, someone who has come out at actually an early age, to be suspended from school, yet they have a right to education as a child?
It is not really right, and it is very unfortunate that it is happening, but it is the fact of what is in Uganda. It will happen the moment there will be a rumor. So I really sympathize with them, but still, it is upon us who are outside already to make sure that at least we carry out a lot of sensitization. So sensitization can be in form of animation, that is one. It can be in form of podcasts. I think this is really very nice, It can as well be in form of interviews that are intended to humanize. We have close journalists who are our friends, who even are in big media houses. But they have told us the truth that really there is a lot of censorship in those regards. So there is a ban on anything to do with a person who expresses themselves as homosexual proudly, to be, even if their story, to be printed in newspapers. And in case they are to cover it, they bring it in a way that is hate speech, defaming. So the other thing would be movies. It is very unfortunate in Uganda. We have a lot of resources. For example, currently we have social media, we have YouTube, we have all those things. Maybe what we lack is the social capital. Because if it would be capital, if we would have capital, we would be making sure that we make a few movies, even if they are short movies, that can be trying to combat most of these problems that we are having, especially in demystifying the lies, in educating, and all those things. So also that would help.
So, Eugene, what role can international allies play in supporting your efforts to actually address hate speeches and protect vulnerable communities?
First of all, they can reach out to people who are doing this great work, because in case you don't support demystifying the lies and also sensitizing and educating Ugandans and both LGBTQ people, if you can't sensitize them, automatically they will not know, they will not come around to appreciate that all human rights are human rights. So most of those international players and allies, they can support by supporting us in regards to financing most of the strategies that can help us to combat with this and can help us to sensitize Ugandans. And as well, they can as well support in form of liking our work, sharing it, putting out this message, For them, they are very lucky, because maybe in those states, for them, they are very free to make sure that maybe they respect identities. In Uganda, it can be very hard. But mostly what we would need from them, basically, is to put out maybe the information out there to their colleagues to get to know that hate speech in Uganda is real.
Thank you, Eugene. Thank you for showing up. You've been listening to the Debunque podcast, and this was our episode 2. And I remain your host, Alexa. Thank you.
Consider donating to Debunque. Your contributions help us cover guest travel costs, production costs, and keep this important show running. Visit the Debunque page on royalraiseinitiative.org to donate.